I taped an interview with Xander Schauffele yesterday after the show, and I found out that he was with John Rahm the first 2 rounds of the Memorial Tournament. He was playing in the same threesome. And I asked him about that reaction. You know, when he heard that John Rahm is dominating, leading by 6 shots and going into the final day, and then he realized he had tested positive for COVID-19. Here is Xander Schauffele. Have you ever been on the tee and you turn away because you don't want to watch somebody take a swing? You don't want to pick up like a bad habit?
Guilty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want
I
to?
don't know if it's a conscious decision or a subconscious thing, but I'll just kind of look down the fairway and then find their ball. I just won't watch the action.
But give me a swing, though, that you know you can't replicate. It works for that person. You just don't want to have those swing thoughts in your mind when you're getting ready to hit a shot.
I don't know. Jim Furyk. That'd be an easy one.
Yeah, but when you look at DeChambeau, do you then want to swing harder? Like subconsciously, does that work when you watch somebody do something? You go, that's not my normal rhythm.
I think he's swinging so hard that it's almost something you just watch. You don't even, I think subconsciously I'll start swinging hard if I know I can maybe outdrive the person. If I'm playing with Bryson, I'll just let him do his thing and I'll just hit first or I'll hit second.
But there's so much of this whenever we play on the weekend. Like you want to hit it. Like it says everything about you that, hey, I hit a drive this far. How overrated is that?
For the weekend guy or for,
yeah. Well, even you guys, do you really care if somebody outdrives you?
No, we care who makes more money at the end of the day. And those are the bragging rights we get.
Because there's sometimes when you go, oh my God, did you see where Rory hit it? And then you'll see where somebody else hit it. And then I don't know if somebody would feel inferior, like, oh, people are going to think that I'm not as good because I can't hit it where he hits it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you hit it as far as, a Bryson, Rory, and they win the tournament, it's like an extra, cherry on top for them. And it makes, if you didn't play well that week, it makes you feel worse about your game. But, if a guy's hitting it 30 by you and you're kicking his ass all day, you're going to sleep quite all right at night. And that guy's going to be sitting there like, man, this guy was hitting it 30 yards behind me.
Are you more likely to fall out of love with your putter or your driver?
I love both of them equally. They both know that too. So,
well, they're not listening here, Xander. They can't hear you. I mean, you can tell me that.
And they're always listening. I tell you what, they don't. Yeah, so I can't quit on either of them.
Do you talk to your clubs?
Sometimes I will. Yeah, I have never gotten to the point of sleeping with one of my clubs, but I have had conversations with one of them, asking them to cooperate a little bit better. And maybe I could have used a mirror instead of my golf club, but to each is their own.
Have you ever slept with a trophy?
No, I've not.
Well, if you got a green jacket, then now you were tied for second when Tiger won, right?
Yes.
What do you remember about that weekend in 2019?
Being an idiot on the 15th tee box, losing the tournament and watching history at the same time.
Sorry to bring it up.
No, it's okay.
But those are the things that are
good and bad thoughts.
But they're supposed to make you stronger, right?
If you let them, they will. If you look at them in a poor light, then they will never make you better. But yes, I do like to think those are the moments that will, I will think about when I win my green jacket.
But you've come close, tied for second at the Open Championship, the U.S. Open tied for third, PGA Championship tied for 10. Like, you're at the doorstep. So what's the missing ingredient there? Or what are you told is the missing ingredient?
I'm gonna get a battering ram in the SWAT team and break the door down.
I like the healthy attitude there. Explain what you're doing with your dad to help people with their golf swings.
Yeah, it's Highland is obviously one of my sponsors on my right sleeve here. We're doing a cool contest. It's called Highland Share Your Swing. As many of you know, my dad has been my only swing coach my whole life, so it's going to be kind of interesting. We get a collab. We're on a contest, a swing contest, and it's through June 20th. We're accepting golfers of all skill levels. So Dan, feel free to submit your own swing. It's a 1 minute or less post. All you have to do is put it up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, #Highland Contest. I won't be making, the finalists or the collection of finalists. Highland will select 10 random, and they'll also select the winner, and they will get a personalized video breakdown. And hopefully, my dad and I can find their X factor in their swing.
But also, are you looking for the worst swings? Because if it's a great swing, then I really don't need any help.
Well, that's why their Highland is going to select the 10 finalists and the winner. So I'm sure there'll be a nice array of swings and people.
What's the best advice you give the amateurs when you're playing in these pro-ams?
Pro-ams are tricky. They're very nervous. They make a lot of wrong decisions in terms of club selection. And I don't know if that's because they're nervous. People don't make the right decisions, but I can't really help anyone in 2 seconds with their golf swing unless it's really obvious. But unless they're like an athlete of some sort where they, it's pretty easy to speak a certain language, but just try and get them to relax and have fun. I think I played with the guy at Memorial, and he was a partner with Nationwide out at the tournament, and asking him sort of, I was laughing with him. I go, your reward is a punishment. Your reward of playing is a punishment. He thought that was on the second hole, and once I made that joke, he kind of relaxed, and you could tell he was hitting the rough left, right, and he almost hit himself with a golf ball topping it. I'm like, this guy was having a field day, and I felt terrible. And I'm like, this guy hasn't played golf in like 2 years, and his company's thinking they're doing a nice thing for him. So, just 6 hours of just torture. It's not what he envisioned on a Wednesday. So I just try and make him relax, talk to him, and just have fun. That's sort of why we're out there.
You were with John Rahm during the first and second rounds at the Memorial. Like, what was your reaction when you heard after the third round that John Rahm, there was contact tracing and he had tested positive?
I knew. I was privy of this information because I kind of made it my business. He had something happen in the beginning of the week, and we didn't really know sort of what was going on. I was asked to switch times with him for the Pro-Am, and then so I kind of probed. And then I asked him, I saw him on the range, and I go, why'd you want me to switch times with you? Like, what does anyone have to do at 7 a.m? You know what I mean? And so he told me he's in contact tracing on Wednesday. And so knowing that, my caddy and I tried to sort of keep our distance, knowing I got COVID in December from my girl, and she got it on a Monday and I got it on a Thursday morning. So I was kind of, just from my own experience, not that I was, expecting him to get it, but, I think maybe, deep down, he knew there may have been a chance. So probably the worst, it's so brutal. I think, with this whole COVID thing happening, this is like the worst thing that could probably happen. Obviously he knew that he may get it. So he kind of had a little bit of a heads up versus, completely being blindsided. But it's hard to win a golf tournament on Saturday, and he kind of did. And so for him to sort of deal with that is really it's unfortunate, but they stuck to their rules, and unfortunately that's what it was.
Could they have done something if I put this to a vote with the players for John to be able to play on Sunday? If he went out by himself,
sure.
Would do you think the tour would have had a problem with that?
Yes, because Brandon Grace was leading a tournament. I think it was the Barracuda after 2 rounds, and
yeah.
he had to play really well to qualify for a major championship, and he was leading after 2 or 3 rounds, and the same thing, he had to pull out. So for that reason alone, I think the tour would have, obviously players, like, hey man, like you want to go out and shoot 18 under on a course that guys are having a hard time breaking par and win this thing by a million, like my hat's off to you. Like that's what I was trying to do. And so I think if it was a player vote, we'd just be like, yeah, it's just, like let the guy do his thing. Like he clearly deserves it. But the tour had to sort of, watch their own back there.
I felt terrible for him to be told in the manner that he was, Xander. Like
I thought that's like the most unprofessional thing. In all honesty, that was pretty gross. I think his caddy Adam is really protective over him, and he does a really good job. So he was trying to get the cameras out of the way, but to have a camera on him, and that's just, come on, guys, like let him go. We have green tarp up by the scoring tent. Like tell him somewhere else. You don't got to make this a freaking televised deal. You know what I mean?
And I felt bad. Jim Nantz and Nick Faldo had no idea what was happening, so I'm watching the broadcast. And you see John almost go to his knees. He's emotional.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I know. When someone sees that, they're thinking, worse things potentially. You know what I mean? More tragic things.
Family.
So,
yeah.
Family related, right? He just had a
baby.
His newborn. And so, of course, it's going to, them doing this on the 18th hole in public makes it much worse. And I'm sure they're getting some heat for this, as they should.
Is it a home course advantage for the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines?
Mentally, no. I played there in high school as a kid. That was my home course, but we played north as old design and south, even as its old design. We played 9 holes at 3 o'clock. I went to college for 4 years, didn't play there once. So my first time back was actually when I got a sponsored exemption into the Farmers. And so, my home course in San Diego, would be like the Grand or the Farms are courses I practice and played a lot. I don't practice and play at Torrey Pines all that much, but I'm starting to get more and more comfortable thinking that it's, my home field advantage.
You were there when Tiger won 2008 U.S. Open, right?
Yes.
What do you remember about that?
I was up against a tree on the 18th green. I watched him hit his shot into the right rough. I watched him hit it on the green, and against all odds, I watched him make the 12-footer downhill on sketchy Poena greens on a late Sunday. And just in classic Tiger fashion, that was my first real Tiger roar in a Tiger arena, 10 to 12 deep. If I had a ladder, I would have been on it, but I was up against this tree, giving myself a vantage point to watch this whole thing go down. So chills thinking about it. And, I think I was out there for maybe a Thursday or something, but I really don't remember anything but that moment. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're going to have a moment, that's a great moment to remember, because I think we all remember where we were when we were watching it on TV.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, congrats, and hopefully we get that breakthrough win at a major. We appreciate it. Would you give the website once again if people want to send their videos in for you and your dad to look at?
Sure. It's called, the contest is called Highland Share Your Swing, and you can visit highland.com/swing contest.
Xander, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, take care.